Good evening. It is Wednesday night, and that means it's another episode of The Other Side of the Ball. Hi, I'm Dub. That's Chris, and we don't know who else might be joining us, so it might be just two. I don't know. Um,
They don't
how?
tell us anymore.
No, no.
What's up, Travis?
Hello, Moose. How are you, sir? Week 6 has gone by the wayside. Some interesting things happen. Um, and Baby Hudson is 1 years old. Diving his face into his birthday cake. All
Nice.
right, all right, Baby Hudson. Um, Chris, how's your day? As technically my day is now getting started because I got to be at work in 2 hours.
Damn. My day has been busy. Um, for those of you who don't know, I'm a lighting agent, and we had our regionals in one of my regionals in today and yesterday. So we have been on the go from 7 o'clock this morning until probably about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Just going and going and going, and then that's when my day started because that's when I came home and actually started answering emails.
Ah, yes, Mr. Smith, how are you?
What's
As
going on?
as we are going over what's going on here about people's days, and of course, week 6 took place here in the ASNFL. Some interesting things happening. Um, things shocking, things not so shocking, but however, interesting stuff going on in the world of A7. Chris, give us your take of what you thought we saw here this past Sunday. Uh, as Mr. Cerrone almost, he was a half a yard shy
Right?
of his first 3-on-1 return for a touchdown. Just came
I
up.
thought he had it. I
It
thought he
remind
had it.
it reminds me of that Bo Jackson run against the Bengals many years ago, and you thought Bo was outrunning everybody, but somehow that last Bengals defender got him to trip at the 1 yard line, and you see Bo kind of frustrated there because he thought he had it. That was Cerrone's run uh, this past Sunday. I mean, even though he didn't score, the whole sick-witted sideline just came over and celebrated him like he did anyway. That was a very good scene to watch, if you will. That was very,
Man,
very fun.
he had the run on Facebook, and of course, I had the comics. I'm like, man, you were so close. I really, from where he got tackled, I thought that because he didn't fall, obviously nobody falls straight down.
Hmm.
And when he got tackled, I would have thought, after I watched the replay of the game and watched the replay of that play, it really looked like his knee came down as the ball was crossing the goal line. So I know they put him down at the one, but I still think it was a touchdown. Anyway, great run, Zach. It was absolutely fantastic to watch a defensive end do what you did. So that was great to watch, man. I loved every minute of it, and I think Dub will attest. The two of us were on our feet yelling. So,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you could hear it in the replay.
we thought he was going to make it. Because you're just like, is did he get in? What's the final word? And they're like, no, he's short. I'm like, oh, dead gummit.
Yeah, I thought he was it, man. I was already jumping up and down. So anyway,
What they
on the
should have
highway.
what they should have done was they should have just gave him the touch anyway, just for just for bragging rights. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. But nonetheless, it still did not stop Sick from taking care of business. Even though they should have given the ball at the 1 yard line, let Cerrone complete it. But I am
I
not.
that's I said put him in at running back, let him run up the middle.
instead,
I
they
think
let
he could have done it.
instead they let Murph run up the middle, and Murph finds the end zone for a touchdown. And Sick with it pitches another shutout, if you will, um, over the Hunters. Um, I mean, it was a very unique day for us per se because we started. Very rarely do you see Vegas being the first game of the day, but we were on the air at 9:30 in the morning, um, which is rare, being in the Pacific Daylight Time Zone, if you will. Um, but you know, things happen. But I mean, shout out to the production crew from getting there, setting up, and pretty much bringing it down. Um, I mean, it's very rare to be done by. Yes, that is true, Bino. We still did our portion of the game. Hopefully, that will come up soon. But because yes, Matt and Rob did do the game of the week nationally for
Oh, we
Foxhole
did.
between, huh?
Didn't we have? Weren't we live on YouTube?
I don't know. It was
I,
it was a lot of things. We were just told to do what we were told, and we do what we were told. So I mean, so
yep.
yes, there's two feeds of it. There's Matt Ryan and Rob's feed, and there's mine and Chris's feed. So enjoy to your heart's delight and enjoy to your heart's content. I'll
Yeah.
say it like that.
And I hope that with the guys that are watching us right now that are from Vegas and even from back east, I hope we do a decent job at calling games. Dub and I have now had was it 3 seasons that we could work on this now.
Yeah,
It was a little rocky at first because we're still learning to work with each other. Now it's like we kind of have each other's back, and it's a lot more fun, and we can dive in a little deeper. And
just wish the Asgardian was with us because we missed the Asgardian.
oh heck yeah, dude, I miss some of his takes and
Yeah.
his. I got to start getting butt naked booty scoots back into our vocabulary. Probably get in trouble for that, but that's all right. I just got to do it for my boys. So if you hear some butt naked booty scoots going on, then you'll know what's happening.
Well, hopefully he'll be watching.
No more 10
Very
push-ups if you drop the ball. 10-yard butt naked booty scoot. That's all I got to say.
well. There were some drops and push-ups that did take place this past Sunday, which is quite of a rare occurrence. But again, things do happen in football to where drops do happen. Um, however, still a very entertaining Sunday of football in the A7. And now we will see what goes ahead with Week 7. As the sad part is we are nearing the playoff. I mean, it's a fun part, but the sad part because we're nearing the playoffs, which means we're heading towards the end of the season, which is kind of sucky.
It is. I mean, it's weird because you get to this point of the season, and the first thing that I start thinking about is obviously NFL. But the real part of this and the real piece of this is I enjoy A7 so much more. Being part of it, watching it live, being able to talk to these guys and understand what they've got going on is so much more a bigger part of my life that I actually enjoy A7 more so than sitting down watching NFL. I know it sounds weird, but NFL, I feel like I'm no more than a fan. In the A7, I feel like I'm still part of that and can talk to you guys and see what's going on. So that's why I like it that much more than just sitting down and being a fan for the A7 or for the NFL.
Uh, all parts of football play a part. Obviously, for me, I call this the fun job because getting to do play by play is very very fun, and getting to do it for a high impact league to where it's a league to where you don't use pads and helmets. It's just like you're playing in the backyard with your buddies, like you did back in the day. So that's the fun part, and also just the dynamic of how these gentlemen that, like me and you, have a quote unquote 9 to 5.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Gaither. Now, Ron, I gotta ask you a question.
Yep.
That ball that you dropped, was the sun in your face, or did you just flat out drop that ball? Because you were butt naked wide open.
Oh, you're talking to Gaither.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was he can't, you know what? I can't wait to see what he says, but in reality, there's no way he could say the sun was in his face because of where the sun was when that pass went out. I want to see what he says, what he tells you on that one. Cuz that was
Scared for knee.
scared for knee, but dude, whether you caught it or not, it was going to be the same tackle. So you might as well catch the ball.
Well, at worst, be first and goal at the 1 yard line as opposed to a drop pass. But hey, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, we all of us have, like you just said, all of us have 9 to 5s after football's over with. Some of us it's closer to 7-5, but that's all right. We do what we got to do. Um,
But
I
the fact
enjoy.
is, these gentlemen get to come out here play this game for the love of it, for the flat out full love of the game. It's just it's a great thing to see. It really is.
What I have been tickled about this year has been the emergence of the gold.
Yes.
That's what I've has made this so much more fun this year has been the gold's emergence. What what we're seeing from Sick With It has been a lot of fun. Um, you know, overall, this the preseason situation with the stealth. And no, I'm not knocking anybody. So before you guys start to bash me for that, I'm not knocking anyone. But the preseason for the stealth was one of those situations where we heard a lot of, uh, "Hey, we should be in the top 7, this and that," and maybe they're right. They might be just a quarterback away from being extremely good in this league. Um, what I've seen from all of these teams has been extraordinary. And the reason why I haven't said anything about the Insomniacs yet is because what I've seen out of them is what I kind of expected to see out of them because they are that good. And, they've played at a high level. They've shown what they can do and they've added to the experienced players that they have and really started to show, hey, you know what? We're going to work on things. We're not going to play with our food. We're going to beat these teams, but we're also going to work on stuff and have a little fun doing it. So it's been interesting. It's been an interesting season so far, and I'm hoping to see more of it. Um, both games, as much as there was a huge point differential, both games were good games. Both games were hard fought games. Both games saw a lot of plays that could have changed the dynamic of the game. So I really enjoyed Sunday. I know we're back to our regular scheduled time this coming Sunday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, which means on Sundays I have to mad dash from the stadium to work after this, so that's going to be a little challenging for me. But as Gaither says, it was too damn high, waiting for it to come down.
Yeah, that was sitting there watching him wait. It was like a shot put, and so I get it. I mean, it was like, okay, yeah, all right. And as you're sitting there on the field as a player, you're like looking around because you have so much time. You're looking around, making sure nobody's going to intercept the ball, which is also ridiculous because the ball was so high. So yeah, no, I get you, man. I feel you on that one. Been there, done that.
All right, not to get right into it, but here we go. We're going to get right into it as we go through week 6 of the A7. No David Tinder, but it wasn't too big of a hassle for the Silk City Animals as they get the win over the Old Bridge Hawks by a final score of 27-14. Um, as there were some very interesting touchdown celebrations that happened in this game. That it it,
Interesting's an understatement.
it drew some interesting comments from a lot of people. We don't know the footage for it, but let's just say it almost had resemblance of Draymond Green back in the 2016 NBA playoffs, and I'll leave it at that.
Right.
But the Hawks do get their win on the year. They do go to 4-1, so that goes without saying. Big bounce back win after taking their first defeat at the hands of the Trenton BIC, who were on a bye week, but make their return to the gridiron this week. And perhaps the game that nobody saw happening, or the game that really no one saw happening with this result of a score, was the Indianapolis Octane getting their first win of the season, putting up 37 on the Virginia Heathens, 37-24. Um, Unfortunately, we didn't get no film footage of it, so we don't know what exactly happened in this game. But shout out to the Octane. Well, I know they've taken some on the chin this year, but they are on the board. They will not go winless. An impressive win over the Heathens, 37-24. So
I would
congrats.
like to know in this game specifically because it was in Indiana, correct?
It was it was on either that or Cincinnati. I want to say
Oh,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. Um, how many of the heathens made the trip?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. So if there are any Virginia heathens watching this podcast right now, if you could let us know how many were in attendance for this game, because I know the cross country travel has at times been an issue, if you will. Um, Definitely would like to see how many heathens made the trip for this particular game. But nonetheless, Octane on the board, 37-24. They get the win over the Virginia Heathens. Now, as we said on Sunday, and it really was the truth. Um, this final score really did not tell the story of this game. Yes, it will say 48-20. Yes, it will say that the Stealth got the win by 28 points, but through the early stages into the fourth quarter, this was a tied game at 2020, and me and Chris really thought while doing this game, we really thought that whoever had final possession might have won this game. Now, there were certain situations to where Chris and I said that why are the Gold not playing the field position game, and that kind of came back and bite them. And then uh, the touchdown pass to Too Easy that put the Stealth up for good. The Stealth never looked back. But again, the Gold did some good things. Stealth did some good things. We thought it was going to be a very competitive game, and like I said, it was. It was back and forth. It was very competitive, and when it was tied, you really did not know that who was going to come out winning the game. But the Stealth, by way of taking advantage of some Gold mistakes, end up getting the win by a final score of 48-20. Chris, just what are your thoughts on what we saw between the Stealth and the Gold?
For 3 quarters, this is probably one of the better games of the day. I loved watching the first half and to watch the back and forth. And to me, the better defense was actually the Gold in the first half. The better defense, obviously, in the second half was definitely the Stealth, which makes you kind of wonder about, but how good the Gold truly are, and not in a negative, in a positive, because they were able to play in the first half up with the Stealth,
It was
and
even.
it was dead even, and I mean right down to the score. So I mean these guys were literally giving each other, um, I don't know how else to put it, but some serious body shots um, during the game,
It
and
was
this game
definitely
was
Hagler
beautiful.
Hearns for the first three quarters.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, these guys were definitely battling it out for the first 3 quarters, and like you said, if you didn't watch this game and all you saw was the score, you would think the Stealth ran away with it. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't start to run away with this game until the fourth quarter, and I am very impressed with the way the Gold has handled themselves this year. Very impressed with the way they have played this year. Um, very impressed with what they've been able to do, and I'll be very upfront and honest. Very impressed with Jeremiah as quarterback, and the reason I'm so impressed with him is because in the last couple of seasons that he's played in this league, I was watching him play. It looked like he was very hesitant. He didn't know where to go with the ball. This year, watching him play, he looks very assured of himself. He looks like he knows where he's going with the ball. He's taken a little bit of time to read the defense before he snaps the ball, and he is delivering passes that are right on the money. So, if I can say anything else about Jeremiah is just this: I want my raise. That's all I'm going to say. I want my raise.
Yes,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Coach Vera giving his friendly advice, if you will, to the players.
Oh, it wasn't just friendly advice. It was 2 hours of us sitting in the parking lot talking.
Well, that too. Well, I mean, you. Well, I mean, you. Well, first off, you have a coach's heart, and you always want to see players improve, and they always come up and ask you, "What do you think?" And then you are willing and giving of yourself to give that advice to see these players improve their talents, and as I always say, harnessing their craft, if you will, because I mean, football is definitely harnessing your craft, and there was a lot of players definitely trying to harness their craft and improve upon this upcoming season, which is very good to see because obviously there's a lot. I mean, like I said, the Gold definitely were playing like they really wanted to win this game, and it showed because they were playing with a lot of, as I like to say all the time, playing with a lot of passion. But it just seemed like they had that determination to where they finally felt uh, the ecstasy of winning, and they wanted more of that, and they definitely were playing like that. And you really thought that they had a chance to steal another one, but a couple of decisions, which I'm sure they'll watch the tape. Well, I'm sure Reeves will watch the tape, and he'll be like, "Okay, let's try to do this." Because one thing you kept saying is maybe they need to run more zone outside because the inside run game was not working, and
Yep.
we will see if they will implement that in their next week or in their game next week because we do have a full. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6-game slate. Hard to believe that tomorrow it will be the 1st of May. My goodness.
Yeah, that's kind of blows my mind that it's the first tomorrow, and the way things are kind of lining themselves up right now. It's kind of crazy. Um,
Yeah.
the thing about it is I enjoy what we've been seeing to this point. Um, who knew that you drop 3 teams off of playing in the Nevada division, and all these teams get that much better. Um, Hunters, even with them, uh, they look good on Sunday. And I'm not saying that as a surprise. What I'm saying is, they really did against Sickwit. They look good. Um, there's just certain teams that are head and shoulders above competition, and so when you see the 56-0, you're like, oh, okay, they got blown out again. Fact of the matter is, Hunters play some really good defense, and they also played some really good offense. They just weren't able to capitalize on any of the stuff that they had go their way, and that was the difference between them not scoring and scoring. So, I mean, did we figure that the Sickwit was going to win the game? Yes, but the fact of the matter is, Hunters had some really good plays, and the thing about it is, even with the score differential, you never saw them give up.
No. No.
They battled to the end. I mean, all these teams are coming with heart. Nobody is just laying down for another team in this division. Nobody. We see a lot of hard play. We see a lot of guys fighting it out until the very end. Um, Maybe even getting a little bit too passionate with a little pushing and shoving and some other stuff. But fact of the matter is, that's football. The
It's all
football
a
is a
part of
game
football.
of passion.
It's all. It is indeed. It is all part of the game. But again, as I said it on Sunday, I will say it again. Shyvon Richardson just continues to make a case to be a very strong candidate to be Rookie of the Year in this league, as he just continues to play fantastic football. As he had another 2-touchdown performance, just a man of many traits, contributing to this very already talented Sickwit football team.
But doesn't that also mean that his teammate would also be looking at a possible Rookie of the Year? So I mean, somebody's got to throw on those passes. And right now, Canyon Stone King is looking pretty damn good as a Rookie of the Year himself, with the way he has been able to put Sickwit on his shoulders and really take the load of what's going on. And he's really shown, they both shown their worth to this team, and that is something that you can't hide. Um, if you took either one of them off this team, I don't know if they would be as good as they are. Just saying. You know, um, if you were able to do that, then you're able to double team Darren Palmer, and it kind of changes the dynamic. But there's been some really great touch passes by Stone King to both of his wide receivers, and we've seen both of them make some tremendous plays on the ball. So yeah, it's one of those. Has there ever been my curiosity? Has there ever been a rookie of the year? And if there is one, if there hasn't been one, this would be the year to make that happen.
Well, heck, you might have Rookies of the Years because Service from the Renegades, he's also putting together a very fine rookies. It's going to be hard to see who breaks down the voting when it comes to voting for Rookie of the Year in this upcoming award season. It really, really is. But Sick with a Dig at the win, 56-0 over the Hunters. As if we look at standings here in the league.
Are you pulling those up, or are you gonna put them up on screen?
If I can copy them, I could, because I'm still trying to learn how to do this.
Oh, hold on, I'll get it.
Screen stuff.
Give me a sec. I'll get it up.
Oh, so Chris will do it. All right. Well.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, while Chris does that, let's have a throwback, if you will. Enjoy this little piece of footage right here, folks.
Yeah, so just ping him with it. Yep. Or throw it straight up in the air.
High. Like that. Into the night. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. JoJo Ramsey, he is gone.
Wow.
Baby.
Oh man, I remember that play.
Just wanted to give you a little throwback action with Mr. JoJo Ramsey from a season ago when we were actually literally on the field calling games, not being this very nice booth that Matter Academy has, which is a very nice booth. Very, very spacious. Don't have to move your head as much. But for week one, and
there you go.
Chris does have the sharing screen.
Yep.
There it is, folks. So if you're looking at statistics, if you will, if you're looking at the Northeast, you see the BIC still undefeated at 5-0. The Animals at 4-1. The Watchmen at 4-1. But the Animals do have the tiebreaker by head-to-head meeting over the Watchmen. But you got the Renegades at 4-2. Crush at 3-3. You and Heathens and Hawks all at 2-3. Octane at 1-5. Buzz coming in the rear at 0-6. And then if you go to the West, of course, still the Insomniacs unbeaten at 4-0. Sick with it right there at 4-1. The Stealth 3-2. The Gold at 1-4, and the Hunters at 0-5. But if you see the little 2-3 there between Sick and the Stealth, Chris asked the question, does that mean that the bet has been won by Sick? Which all intents and purposes looks like it is, because by the way, Sick with it did have the head-to-head matchup win, and Sick is still in second, so it looks like the whole Insomniacs team might be getting some Dripping Soul soul food from Dripping Soul Kitchen. So that definitely remains to be seen, but it looks like the whole Wolfpack will be getting fed very nicely. So there you have it.
Yeah, it sounds like the situation with that whole thing is Scotty gets to keep his ring, and they get to enjoy some food.
Yes.
So nothing wrong with that.
So we will see what other possible wagers might be happening here. As Mr. Reeves, who now is going under the Winter Soldier this year, even though Chris still loves the name Dark Kent.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I understand the name change, but Dark Kent still is one of my favorites. Just saying. Do we have the top 7? I don't have that. I don't know if
I've been looking for it, and I don't think it has been posted, because I've checked almost every outlet you could possibly check, and I haven't seen it.
Interesting.
I mean, I did submit my vote.
I didn't. I abstained from this one. Just because I'm so, I guess the easiest way for me to put it, disenchanted with the voting. So I'll just let it go.
Disenchanted.
They posted it 20 minutes ago, is what DP was saying.
Okay, we'll try to get that for you in just a second, folks.
Where is it? Where do they usually post it? Is it on?
It's posted everywhere.
Well, I'm actually on A7 website right now. I'm taking a look to see if it's here, but I don't think so. Because if it is, all I'm going to do is put it up.
Well, while we find that, folks, just bear with us as we're trying to.
And by the way,
on the Instagram page, according to Mr. Palmer. Thank you, DP.
I just wanted to show this because I thought this is very interesting too. Don't know who has seen it, but take a look.
Oh, yes.
So I think this is interesting. We are starting to see more and more from not just around the NFL, but also around hip hop and other communities where they're starting to take notice of what's going on in the A7. And when Uncle Snoop starts posting stuff, man, people start paying attention. Let me tell you.
Well, I mean, he can definitely. Well, I mean, he is a walking endorsement. There's no question about that, for sure.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, and Bino, I agree with you. Votes are like all-star games. That's why sometimes I abstain from them because it's like, okay, what's my one vote going to do? The only thing that I will make sure that I vote on is when we're voting for, player of the year and rookie of the year and all that fun stuff. That's when I will definitely make my voice heard.
Okay, I'm on the Instagram page and I don't see it at all. I see scores. That's about it.
And Bino, the top 7 is actually based off of look at it as like a college where they do the AP and they do coaches polls and they kind of combine them as your top 25. Well, no different. They do coaches and staff and everybody kind of pulls together, and that's how the whole thing is kind of decided. But what we've seen, and obviously there's players that really don't give a rat's what, but they have said that we've seen a lot of the East Coast teams take over. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it is what it is. When it comes right down to it, most of the guys from some of the teams out here, they really don't care. Their thing is playoffs and championships. That's where the rubber meets the road.
Well, like I said, I'm still looking and I have not found it.
Oh, for IG?
Yes.
Isn't it just A7's IG account?
I'm there, but it's not there.
Huh. Interesting.
I see highlights. I see other things, but I do not see the countdown.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Indeed.
I'm looking at the same thing and seeing if I could find it. I will let you know. But nonetheless, getting back, whoa, hold up. That's the bye-week edition. So I found the bye-week edition. But I do not see the one from this past week. So anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I mean, these guys, we'll be able to talk about it eventually, and I'm okay with that. Still kind of looking to see if there's anything, because on the bye week edition, which obviously was for Easter Sunday, we had BIC number 1, Insomniacs number 2, Animals number 3, Watchmen number 4, Sickwit number 5, Renegades number 6, and Patterson U number 7. That was during the bye week, but I don't see the top 7 after that, unless this is nope, that's not it. So yeah, nothing on their IG account that I see. But eventually we'll find it.
It'll
Somebody will send it in.
eventually make its appearance somewhere down the line, but in the meantime, um, interesting take. Um, but like I said, we got a 6-game slate on Sunday. Um, let me
Yeah,
see.
let's hold on.
Let me see if I can do this now.
Oh, what to share the schedule?
Share screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little wonky. I mean, you pretty much do the present, share screen, and then you have to click on your screen and then come back to the StreamYard screen. Oh, Jaffo's IG page has it. Okay.
Ah.
While you're doing that, let me look at the Jaffo's IG page, and I will see what I could find. Dum, 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 dum. Ay, ay, ay. And I apologize for the barking of my dogs.
Oh yes.
Yeah, both of them. As soon as anybody comes home, and we always use the garage. So as soon as somebody comes home, man, they're just friggin' all over it. Oops. Okay. Back. Jaffo's TV. Let's see. Man, these guys got a lot of stuff on here.
That they do.
Ton of stuff. Unfortunately, the top 7 is not one of them that I see. See, happy Easter, so I'm back that far.
Oh, there's one.
You found it?
No.
Oh, okay.
You found the Happy Easter page.
Yeah, found quite a bit on here, but unfortunately, top 7 is not one of them. I don't understand how you guys see this, but we can't find it. That is so odd. Unless I'm scrolling right past it. Nope. Anyway, got some more show to get to. Let's go ahead and jump into that, and I'll just keep searching. And if you see my eyes looking down, you'll know that it's because I'm looking. Now we're getting let's see. Somebody saw it on FB on Facebook. So I'll also check that and see if I can find it. And if I can, I'll make sure to post it and get everything caught up so everybody sees what's going on. My only question for the FB page is, whose FB page did you see it on?
That's the ultimate question.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the official players group. There
Well,
is
the 3-on-1 doesn't have a show anymore, so I don't know how it's on their page.
yeah, and then I was also going to say it could also be on a couple of different pages, but the one that makes sense is if Matt Ryan has it.
I
or
looked
if
on
it's,
Matt's page; it's not on his.
yeah, and I'm going to look on the East Coast page too, and see if that's where it's at. Nope. So I'm sure that one way or another we'll
All
find
right,
it.
so Catalyst just said it's on the 3-on-1 IG. Okay, so I will go there. And yes, it is there. All right, so
You hear my daughter?
what is she saying?
She said, "I'm neglecting my family because I'm on my podcast." Yes.
Well, I will send it
The
to you.
absolute love of a 12-year-old.
Yes, well, I will send it to you. And if you could put it on the screen.
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Huh.
Okay.
That's funny. That's the same as the oh no, Stealth moved into this.
Yes.
So hold on. Let me see if I got to think about this.
So this posted 43 minutes ago. So thank you, 3-on-1 page.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how to get this. Oh, I know how to do it. Hold on. Hold on. Please hold.
Please stand by.
Very much. Please stand by.
So our thanks to Catalyst Wrestling for giving us that information.
Yeah, hold on 2 seconds. I'm gonna get this up
And
here.
Chris will post it up for us momentarily.
I just needed to figure out a place to put it so that way I can go and retrieve it. So now that I know that it's here.
Well, also, folks, don't forget, you can pick your favorite player's numbers of TDs, chance to, or overall rushing, receiving yards for your chance to win real cash prizes. How to do this? Please go to Bet Sparket, BETSPARKET.com. Sign up and enter the Ace NFL contest. Get your 1,000 sparks, and then make your picks and climb up the leaderboard and win. So again, that is betsparket.com. So that's if you like props. You can do weekly player props in the Ace NFL and a chance for you to win some prizes. Again, that is betsparket.com. BETSPARKET.com. So,
Oh, and here we go.
There is the top 7 for this week, the week 7 edition here. We have the Trenton BIC who are on the bye week, remaining at number 1 with their 5-0 record. The Insomniacs at 4-0, the defending back-to-back champions, of course, still at number 2 at 4-0. Silk City by way of getting back on the winning track. 3 win, or they're at number 3. Watchmen at number 4, but the BIC and Watchmen do play each other this week. That should be a very interesting game. Sick with it at number 5. Renegades at number 6, and the Stealth make their way back into the top 7 at number 7. So that is your top 7 at the moment.
Should we talk about noticeables that are not on here?
Yeah, not seeing the Patterson U is definitely shocking to see. But the Renegades maintaining their spot here on the line is not interesting considering what they were a season ago. I definitely think the Renegades can do some chaos. Of course, again, we always keep talking about what the record of the Renegades could be if they don't lose those 2 1-point losses in overtime. They very well could be within the top 3 of this league and definitely can make some noise in the playoffs when the playoffs start, which the playoffs are scheduled to start. Now, this is according to the website, so don't take it as a verbatim, but the playoffs are scheduled to start week 8 on May the 18th, which we still have 2 games left on our season in May 18th. That will have Golden Second, the Insomniacs, and the Hunters.
No, we just got this weekend before the 18th because the 11th is Mother's Day.
Correct.
We don't have games that day.
Correct. All right.
Yeah. So we've only got this weekend, and then we jump into playoffs. Craziness.
Yeah.
Because Mother's Day is the 11th.
That is correct.
Yep. Don't ask me how I remember numbers. I'll never know. Just kind of stick. But hold on, sorry, I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. So, for the let's take a look at what we have going on for pulling up the
The schedule.
schedule, see where we're at, see what's going to happen, who's playing whom, and we could jump into our picks for this week. And it is, I'm going to go down the list pretty much just for S's and G's as far as they're on here. I'm not going East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. I'm just giving you guys what we have here. So we got Animals versus the Heathens. That is the 1 p.m. start in they're playing in Maryland.
Mm.
So Heathens are at home. Who do you like in that one?
If Tinder is not playing, I think the Animals still win, but I think the game will be a lot closer. I mean, and plus, again, you want to see how the Heathens react getting punched in the mouth by the Octanes. I still think the Animals should win, but of course, again, this is any given Sunday. But again, it all depends on the health of David Tinder.
True.
If Tinder plays, I'll say the Animals win by at least 2 touchdowns. If he doesn't, I would say somewhere in the realm of a 27-21 type of score is what I'm seeing if Tinder does not play. And again, it all depends. But again, you want to save Tinder for the playoffs because you don't want them to aggravate that injury even further.
What did he do?
He got hurt in the BIC game. I don't know how.
Well, I mean, did he pull a groin? Did he twist an ankle?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I would have to rewatch the film and see where it took place.
Or maybe I just need to text him and ask him.
That too.
How was that? For me, this is one of those games where it's going to be a tough call because of what you just brought up with the Heathens losing to the Octane. We don't know who traveled, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of animosity about this coming game, and guys are going to be going a little bit back and forth. And I agree, if we're talking about Silk City without David Tender, does that then push things towards the Heathens? Basically, right now I'm going to say the Animals, and I'm going to call this game a situation where it's going to be 30-24.
Close game, very close game.
Yeah. The next up is Hunters and the Stealth here in Vegas at Matter Academy at 1 p.m. I'll go first on this one, so that way we kind of go back and forth. On this, I'm going to go with a Stealth, but I think this is going to be a close game. I think that the Hunters are kind of finding themselves a little bit, especially after last week. Just a few high passes by Snoop made a little bit of a difference, and I think that with a little bit more time under their belts, maybe that they can have those big plays come back to them. And if they do, it should be an interesting game. So I'm going to go with the Stealth in this one, and I'm going to say that they're going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I think this game could be, as long as the Hunters don't shoot themselves in the foot going into the second half, I think that we could wind up seeing a lot of what we saw with the Gold and the Stealth last week, which was a very close first half. So in my estimation, I think this game could be one of those where it's a 20-30 game, and 10 points is the difference.
You go back to their game back on March the 23rd, and the final score was 21-8 in favor of the Stealth. And I go back to a couple of plays in that game to where the Hunters shot themselves in the foot, as Savion Cunningham had 2 great returns, got them within striking distance, and they went backwards.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't matter if it's Cook at quarterback or if it's Snoop at quarterback. The Hunters have got to get off to an early start, and they have to not shoot themselves in the foot, and more importantly than that, they cannot drop the football. Otherwise, if they do that, it's it's going to be a long day. I still think the stealth will win. Um, I'm kind of like you. That 10 to 12 point range is what I'm feeling. But I think this is a game to this is a game to where possibly I think the Hunters can get into some kind of a rhythm on offense. But I still think the stealth uh, do get at least an in between 10 to 12 point win.
Okay. So we're kind of on the same page. I just said 20 to 30.
Yes.
So we're on the same page. The next game is the Old Bridge Hawks versus Patterson U. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Patterson U took the L last week by way of a forfeit because I don't think they traveled. Is that correct? Hold on.
From what I've heard, yes.
Yeah, because they were supposed to play QC Crush.
Yes.
So with this, we're going to be in Asbury for this one. So my thought on this game, don't know who's playing, don't know what happened last week with Patterson U. The Hawks actually looked like they were playing pretty good against granted a David Tennerless team in this situation when they played the Animals over this past weekend. So I'm don't ask me why. I'm giving the edge to the Hawks on this one. I actually think that they have a chance to win this game. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that this game is going to be a close game too, and I think it could be a 28-29 to 21-20 type of game.
Well, that is a very interesting take.
But
No buts.
okay.
Sometimes the Hawks are like Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which version of the Hawks you're going to get. But again, if you're looking at standings and playoff seeding, I mean, you have 3 teams with a 2-3 record, with the U, Heathens, and the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, there's going to be a huge implications as far as seeding goes. Because obviously the wild card is the QC Crush. They're at 3-3, so there's that thing to play.
Well, but hold on before. I'll go ahead. I'm gonna let you answer for that, and then I want to say something about the Crush.
This is a toss up because I don't know which U team you're going to get, and I don't know which Crush team you're going to get. I mean, if I'm going off who's the players that you have, I mean, if both teams are at full roster,
mm-hmm.
the U has the advantage without
of course.
I'm still gonna stay with you because again, like you said, this game is in Asbury. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, then I expect you to have mainly most of their guys, and I'll say the U by 14.
Okay. I stick by what I said earlier.
No, that's fine.
Not going to change.
That's fine.
But what I was going to say with the Crush and the playoffs coming around the corner, I mean, look, what I've seen so far this season is the East Coast really, the only teams that they're beating up is, going back and forth is themselves. Again, no knock against the teams that are in Indianapolis and in Cincinnati and what they've been able to do. They beat each other up pretty good, and for the most part, they have lost to the East Coast teams, except for last Sunday, which is, I get it. But it has been interesting to watch the divisions playing each other now, and again, we question who travels when we see a East Coast team lose. But
I have a question. So on one part of the schedule, it says that the playoffs start on May
May
18th,
18th. Yep.
but we do still have 2 games left in at Matter. So is that the Northeast playoffs starting on May 18th, or is that the league as a whole starting with the playoffs on May 18th?
Well, I know Derek's going to type that in, but what I'm looking at right here is it says playoffs round 1, week 8, 5/18. However, when I look at the schedule, we've got the Gold versus Sick-Witted and the Hunters versus Insomniacs. So it's out east. We're starting. There we go. We've already started our playoff run
Oh, okay. All right.
because
there
we're
you go.
doing the round robin. So
To the Batmobile.
yeah,
All right.
hold on. I'm sure that it's going to be an interesting. This last week is going to be interesting because there's going to be teams obviously jockeying for playoff spots and where
We're
they
in the
see
midst
themselves.
of 3 seeding weeks to determine the top 4. All right.
Yep.
Copy that.
So it's an interesting piece to see what's going to happen back east. With us out here, obviously we have a couple more games before we kind of see exactly where everybody's going to be. But it's been very interesting to this point because, again, if Stealth winds up losing because of where these other 2 teams are sitting, it could be very interesting if they drop a game. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying it could be very interesting if they drop a game.
Indeed.
Then we could go to next up is Baltimore Watchmen versus Trenton BIC.
Oh, that's always a fun matchup.
Oh, dude, I think
Always,
this is going to be
always a
one of
fun matchup
those.
to watch those 2 go at it.
Oh yeah. It's going to be an interesting day watching those 2 go at it. Actually, Dub, it's your turn to start.
Well, it'll be a hard-hitting physical game, but I still like the Trenton BIC. They're still the better team, even though the Watchmen have a very good team. As Catalyst says, please check out the Sparkin numbers on that game. He says they have the BIC at minus 10.5.
Wow.
They have big numbers on the BIC. So again, folks, if you want to prop bet, win some cash prizes again, go to one more time, betsparkit.com. Sign up and enter the Ace NFL contest. Get your 1,000 sparks and then make your picks and climb up the leaderboard and win. Again, these are player props with the Ace NFL, offering player props in their weekly contests. So Derek just said, give me BIC and the hook. So there you have it. So again, BetSparket, SPARKET.com is where you go if you want to get in on the action. So if you are a betting person, and some people are, there you go.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where betting is very cool and Derek says give me BIC and the hook. For me, I did you give a score prediction for the game?
No, I'll say BIC by, I'll say 15-20.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I am also going BIC, but I think the score is going to be closer. I think it's gonna. I say give me BIC by 10, and that half point could wind up coming back to bite him in the ass on the betting.
Well, the last they played back on April the 28th, BIC won 43-26. And Derek is going BIC 45-25, so he is staying in the 20-point range.
And I think that he could be right. I just I want to see what happens with the offense for BIC, and I also want to see the offense for the Watchmen. I want to see what they're able to do. So we'll see how that all comes together. Let's see. Bear with me. I apologize. Oh, Vegas Gold versus the Insomniacs is our next game. I think that's a tough gauntlet for the goal.
I agree.
Excuse me, I was going to say BSC. Insomniacs had last week off. I think they're itching to get back and play. I'm going to go with the Insomniacs, and I think that in this situation, I want to see what the goal will bring. But I really think that the Insomniacs are they're just too good as the returning champs. Jeremiah, no knock against your team whatsoever. I've been extremely happy to see what you guys have done, and see how you guys have come along. But I think that in this case, the Insomniacs just have too much, and I got to be real and say that it's going to be an Insomniac game, to say the least.
Catalyst with the 3/4, and Scott Hamilton finishes a chapter of Tropic of Capricorn behind center.
Shit. Well, I don't know about all that, but it sounds good. But I think that, and the other side of this, we don't know who could potentially be missing for the Insomniacs this weekend. Again, not as a negative. We saw what happened with the last game that they played, and they didn't have their whole team, but they were still able to put up points and do their thing. So I think that in this situation, win for the gold if they make it to fourth. Okay.
If they make them play 4/4, yeah, that would be. Now, I am not going to say it's going to be a 78-0 score like it was in week 1.
No.
I still think the Insomniacs win big, but I do agree that if the gold make them play into the 4th quarter, that is a win for the gold. But again,
it'll be interesting to see.
I have the champs winning big.
Yeah, I have the champs winning big too. If the gold can play them into the 4th quarter, it is a huge win for the gold. But I think that the gold are going to be very competitive in this game. Even though we're talking, most people are, but you just said they're going to win big. True, I did say that, but at the same time, there's still pride that's on the line, and I think the gold is showing how prideful they can be in these games. So it's going to be an interesting game, and hopefully, they show that pride and that heart again this coming week. So we'll see what happens. Then we finish with the Buzz versus the Renegades, and it looks like there's an 0-2 here. So I'm guessing the Buzz are forfeiting. So that is the end of our predictions for these games. Man, I'll tell you what, there's definitely some games that I'm looking forward to this weekend. BIC versus Watchmen, always a good game. They always go at each other a little bit, so it'll be interesting to watch that game. And yes, D, I agree with you. Renegades by 2, and I will bet the house. Something tells me that's already off the board. But anyway, it is one of those situations where the teams that are playing this weekend are playing for more than pride. They're playing for where they're going to land, excuse me, for the playoffs. And I'm talking about East Coast, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that all shakes out. And I'm also interested to see how things come down to how they're going to work out with us in the playoffs and the situation that we could see. So the next couple of weeks are going to be friggin' interesting as hell. And I personally, for me, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how all this stuff starts to pull together.
That is for certain.
I mean, there's just too much. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We're still trying to work out playoffs and championship. Where are things going to be played? And that's why I'm saying it's going to be very interesting to see how this all comes to fruition. It'll be one of those things where if it is East versus West in a 4-game kind of playoff, it would be interesting to see how that all comes down, because I think Sick is definitely going to put their money where their mouth is and show up and show out. So we'll see what happens.
That is for certain. That is for certain.
So, what are you looking for most forward to this weekend?
I really want to see. Well, like I said, watching BIC and the Watchmen is always. If you could put back up the top 7 again.
Actually, I was going to let you talk, and then all of a sudden you'd see it pop up. So,
Um, don't mind me, folks. I'm getting ready to switch over to the phone because I have to drive to work soon. So I'm in the process of doing that. So don't mind me if you hear stuff. Always interesting to see BIC and the Watchmen get together because it never disappoints. Always has some good quality football. Anxious to see if the Hunters can put together a full game. We've seen spurts, but really haven't seen it all come together. And I'm hoping that they can bring it together because, like I said, they had some chances to beat the Stealth back in March with that 28-8, 21-8 final score. And I just think the Hunters shot themselves in the foot, but I really would love to see them try to put it together and perhaps shock the world, if you will. And of course, just seeing the Insomniacs get back on the field and just watching them do what they do as they try to make their quest known for history is always a fun thing to watch and to see.
and D, there's the top 7 with BIC number 1 and Silver State Stealth number 7, as you can see with what's going on with the top 7. So, and we already said, one of the biggest misnomers or one of the biggest pieces that we saw fall off was the names that aren't on here in the top 7. One of them, obviously, being the U. The surprise was what I just said. The U not being on here, even though we know that they took an L, was a little surprised that they are not in the top 7. Outside of that, no, there's really nothing that stands out to me as a huge surprise. I think that the Stealth being number 7 is actually very interesting. So we've got 3 of the 5 teams in the Vegas division ranked in the top 7, which is pretty cool. So that would be my biggest surprise. Dub, what would be your biggest surprise for the top 7?
I don't know if there's really any surprise, really. I think that particular top 7 should be the top 7 that's there right now.
Yeah, would agree. I have no problems with any of them. I know that there's some players that don't really care about the top 7 because they're more about the playoffs and winning the championship. So, biggest surprise from last week. Well, it's a tough call because I would say that overall, God, man, I don't know. I think that probably the Octane was probably the biggest surprise of the weekend in my eyes. And it's going to sound like, oh well, it's a knock against whatever. No, I mean, is what it is. When you play these games, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But that was probably my biggest surprise. But we don't know with the Heathens who traveled, but nonetheless, Heathens lost the game and the Octane won, and that was probably my biggest surprise. So the Heathens were definitely my bigger surprise out of the 2. Dub, what do you think?
No, just the Octane getting their first win because, as we said, the Octane have taken some tough L's. And the fact that they came up there and they put 37 on the Heathens is quite impressive because, I mean, if we're just going off the Octane, if I can just find their stuff, if you will.
Are you talking about like the standings for the Octane?
No. Their highest point total this season was 20 against the Crush, and then they put up 37, which is, like I said, which is quite impressive. So them getting the win over. Oh, D just said he heard that Captain America did not travel. Well, that sucks.
Huh?
That certainly takes a lot out of your offense for sure.
It does, but at the same time, I mean, that's why these games are played, right? You know that you're going to be going somewhere, something's going to happen. You got to kind of understand that and be ready to do the things that are need to be done for your team.
Correct.
Doesn't always happen that way, and I understand. But if you don't have your top players and you're going out there and playing with guys that might not be the top echelon, so be it. You go out there and do your best. So they lost the game 37-24.
You have to play with what you got.
Yep.
Which is the unfortunate thing, but I mean, that just is what it is.
And like you said, it's some of the stuff that happens in this game, and play with the guys that you take with you, and sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. It is what it is. So right now, that would probably be my biggest surprise. The U forfeiting is a surprise, but not as much as the Heathens showing up and losing to the Octane. Just my feelings. It is what it is. I think the bigger thing for me this year has been the impressive play from both divisions. And when I say that, I mean, yeah, we've had blowouts just like we've had before, but I think we've had more games that have been more competitive this season and a lot more close games. We saw the Heathens have 2 overtime games where they lost by 1 point. So it is
That's
interesting.
the Renegades.
I'm sorry.
That's the Renegades that have had 2
Renegades. Thank you for correcting me. Sitting there looking at the Renegades at number 6 and saying in my mind the Renegades and then say Heathens. But the overall play for the league this season it has actually been what I would consider pretty damn good. I think there's been more competitive games this season. I think watching the games from the East Coast to the West Coast we've seen some highly competitive games, even in especially here in Vegas, even in games where we knew that the end was a blowout, it still didn't seem like there was a blowout. I mean, if you weren't watching, as I said before, if you weren't watching the Gold and the Stealth on Sunday and you just saw the final, you would think that the Gold got blown out. And in my eyes, they did not. That game was a fantastic game for 3 quarters.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we really thought it was going to be last possession to win that game.
For sure.
Before unfortunately, turnover on downs and the Gold stalling on offense started to get the best of them. And then the Stealth just promptly took advantage. But, I mean, I agree with that question. I mean, the Gold have taken tremendous strides this past season, just showing tremendous heart, showing tremendous, grit, and finally their hard work paying off by finally getting their first win ever. Because, I mean, our question was, could they score more than 2 scores? Now it's, can they now possibly steal a victory? And
right.
And that's just something you just want to see them continue to build off that, build it in for next season, and perhaps they can add some more players because, as Bam had told us, he had been recruiting, talking to the future players coming fresh out of high school, trying to get them to play A7. So I know he's continuously on the recruiting trail, if you will, trying to get more players to come play in this league that is A7.
Yeah. And I would say that when I kind of step back and look at what the Gold have been able to do, to me they are one of the I would say one of the most improved teams in the league. I know that the ongoing joke with them in the past was that they were actually the bronze, not the gold. But in my eyes, they have improved, and they've improved enough to get that nickname, the Gold, back. I think that they are showing a lot of heart. They're showing a lot of what they're made of, and one of the things that kind of surprised me was they did that without Derek Knight on Sunday, who
Yeah.
I thought was one of their better receivers.
Yeah, yeah. But Smith had a big game stepping up. Figueroa had a nice game stepping up. The fact that Derek Knight was not there. Kind of surprised that they didn't try to use Marlon Thomas more in the run game.
Yes.
But like I said, you see the improvement. You see them doing some good things, and that's just a very good thing to see. But besides that,
Well, and you look at what they have been able to do in the return game. You look at what they've been able to do um, with not giving up, tremendous yards on the 3-on-1s. You look at what they've been able to do in the run game, off tackle, and you also have to look at what they've been able to do in the short yardage game with their pass plays. And it is really shown to me that not only are they listening, not only are they starting to play together, but they're starting to take advantage of the soft spots and in defenses. And we saw that pretty much all game long when they were playing against the Stealth on Sunday. Um, with a few hiccups, obviously, with a few things that they still need to iron out. But once they start to get some of that stuff ironed out, to me, they are the most improved team in not just our division, but also in the league. So, Dub, I don't know if you have a take on that. Without being able to see you right now, I'm not sure if oh, now I lost him altogether. Well, I guess I will continue this by myself for until he gets back on. But um, Derek had actually asked about the Renegades and being an improved team, and yes, I think they are improved too on the East Coast. I think that what we've seen from them in the last couple of weeks has kind of shown that they are um, on the upswing. I know that it's not always easy to be um, competitive with everybody that you play, but they've shown that they can be. And I've liked what I've seen out of them as well. There's more than a few teams in the league that have kind of caught my attention and shown what they're made of. And the Renegades and the Gold are two of the teams that have definitely done it. They found heart, they found players, and they found themselves some wins. And I think that when you start to do that and you start to show how you are able to kind of pull things together, it is a very interesting piece. And one of the things that Dub and I talked about on Sunday when we were watching the Gold play was the flat out confidence that Reeves was showing behind center. And when you start to see that from your quarterback, it kind of changes the dynamic of the team. And so we kind of mentioned that in what we were talking about and in our obviously kind of pointing that out to a lot of people because you do see Jeremiah being very it's almost like he was being very precise with where he wanted to go with the ball and there wasn't any more hesitation. So it was great to see that.
yeah, there was an idea of how he wanted the offense to go, how he wanted the offense to run, and it showed. Um, but it also looks like the players are starting to listen to what he's trying to say. Because Bama's been playing this for a long time. He also coaches, which a lot of people don't know. So he is a very bright football mind, and that is being started to shown here. Hence why you're seeing some continuity on offense for the Gold. Definitely in the last 4 weeks that they've been, or the last 4 weeks they've been playing, that has showed. Because again, our question was, could the Gold score more than 6? Now we know a couple of years ago they went down to LA and put up some numbers against one of the LA teams, and you was kind of taken back by like, oh, okay, so they're showing that they have the capabilities of doing this. Now, can they put it together for a full 60 minutes? And they did against the Hunters that one day where they finally got that elusive first win. And now the question I have that we have for the Gold is now, can the Hunters implement that and turn it to their first win in 2 years because they haven't won in 2 years. So now, can the Hunters now do something like that to get back on the winning track? That's the question.
Well, and I think they can. I think the Hunters are, just a little bit away from what's going on, and we touched on earlier about the fact of with the 5 teams, um, which Derek was asking about, but we touched on it earlier. I think that these teams are benefiting from the fact of having less teams in the division and being able to spread out some of that talent between these other teams has started to show up and show what these teams are made of. So I think that yes, I think the Hunters can win a game this season. I think that we could have a really close game between the Hunters and the Gold. And I think there could be a really close game between the Hunters and the Stealth. So it's not too far fetched in my eyes that both these teams have been able to capitalize and benefit from having less teams in the division. So it has been a very interesting season for that. And when we see these two teams play again, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, one of my favorite games this weekend is going to be the Hunters and the Stealth. I want to see what goes on with those two teams after what we saw what Gold were able to do with the Stealth. So it's a very interesting situation with these two teams and what they've been able to do. My question mark is if we saw one of them with a couple more players, and I'll use the Gold for instance. If Tone was able to play with the Gold, would we see that much better of a defense from them? We didn't see a fall off with LA taking over for Reeves at quarterback, right? We saw him make some scramble plays and make some good passes. So I don't think that I think that they have two solid quarterbacks that we could see them move forward with. And I think that if the Hunters were able to choose between their two quarterbacks and really make a push with them, let them start the game and play throughout the whole game, I think you could see some good stuff from them as well.
Well, to answer your question, Derek, who makes the 4 out of the Gold and the Hunters? I'm gonna say the Gold because the Gold have just seemed to put it together, and they definitely, to me, will not be a step over like they have been in years past. I think they would give some teams some fight. So there you have it.
I think they give some teams a run for their money. I think that you give them 1 or 2 more players, some guys that are able to come in and really make some hay with what they're trying to do. I think that there is a really good situation for them that they could wind up being a very solid team and even start to make that move up from where they are into another tier. So yeah, it's a very interesting piece and something to think about for sure.
Well, we will be back at our regular scheduled timing. We will be back on. First game will be at 1 p.m. and then the second game will be at 4 p.m. at Matter Academy. Even though it was unique starting at 9:30 a.m. and being done by 3 in the afternoon, but either way, back to our regular scheduled programming at Matter Academy East, so please join us there. And if you can't join us there live at Matter Academy East, as always, please join us on ASNFL.tv, to where you can hear myself and Chris describe all the action with no pads, no helmets. Final thoughts, Mr. Vera, as we put a bone wrap on episode number 132. Good question. Could the Gold benefit from the LA backstack? That remains to be seen. Although LA's throwing motion is for very weird.
I think, Dub, you need to repeat that. You were breaking up pretty bad.
Well, that's because I'm in my car heading to work, so I probably won't
Gotcha.
sound as clear as I did the first hour of this show.
I will say this: where for Backstack, there's, we can talk about it, but I've seen teams play it to perfection, and I've seen teams that just make it look really awful. I think that it's one of those situations where you have to practice at it. One of the best teams that I've ever seen run that was 8-man flag when the Dirty Birds ran it from our flag league, and it's one of those situations where I think, in my estimation, I'm not saying this is everybody, but when you run that backstack, I think one of the things that you can do out of it is go no huddle and make it very difficult on the defense. And so, what's up, Jeremiah? I think that in those situations, I can't sit here and tell you, yes, they would benefit from it. I think that they have to practice it. They need to understand the openings, where players can be, and what they can possibly do with it before they can just run it. So, don't know. The Nightcrawlers did run it, and they did run it perfect, and I agree. But I think that you can't look at the Nightcrawlers and how long they've been together, and then look at the Gold and say, hey, they're going to be able to execute it the same way. So I don't know. I think that you have to practice it, and everybody's got to be on the same page for it to work.
All right, final thoughts as we put a bow and a wrap on episode 132.
Sorry, yeah. Final thoughts for me, pretty simple. I love what we've seen so far from all the divisions in this, and the way that these games are being played, and teams not giving up and trying new things, and the talent that I've seen from different teams has been fantastic. So I am very much looking forward to Sunday. I can't always sit there and say, oh, this team is going to blow out that team anymore. And it's it is fantastic to see. So my final thoughts are just that. Let's see what these teams are bringing in for this weekend, and see what the outcome is. And everybody's gearing up for playoffs back east. So they're going to be playing their butts off.
Well, on that note, just interesting to see us being back to our regular scheduled timing. But I mean, shout out to the fantastic production crew that we had last week. Had a full crew, and definitely saw some good things production wise. Saw some very good things graphic wise. Just looking forward to seeing that continue, and looking forward to see the stretch to the playoffs continue here in the ASNFL. Again, please join us at Matter Academy as we throw it off at 1 p.m. with the Stealth and the Hunters, and then the Insomniacs and the Gold take place in the nightcap. And myself and Chris will be there again. If you can't catch us live at Matter Academy East, do the next best thing. Hop on to ASNFL.tv for your viewing needs in your local listings and in your area. But for Chris, I'm Dub. Thank you for watching episode 132 as we are approaching week 7, as the playoffs are vastly approaching, and we will see you on the other side of the ball. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.